Well, good evening, Sonder family. It's so good to welcome you. I see lots of familiar names in the chat this morning, folks logging or this morning. Oh, hello. Who even knows? Like, what day is it? I've eaten too much cheese. I don't know where I am. um, yes, good evening. Welcome to your monthly setup. Claire asked in the chat, am I the only one who's being weird about their January journal? For some reason, this month's setup seems more stressful than usual. It's that whole vibe, right? Happy New Year. But I want to encourage you all to be here as you are, relax, celebrate the ending of 2024 as we move forward into the beginning of a brand new 2025 and whatever gets sent our way. I'm so happy to welcome you this evening. My name is Jennifer Ogilvy. I am so fortunate that I get to be your facilitator for our first monthly setup of for our January journal. I am coming to you from the Dallas, Texas area. I hope that you guys have all had a little bit of a chance to take some deep breaths. I'm sitting in my house thinking today I might go ahead and put the Christmas away. It's kind of overstimulating, and I think I'm ready for like my regular clutter instead of my regular clutter plus the Christmas clutter. Some of you may be in your second, but let's see what day again. I don't know what day it is. I guess we are we're looking at day 3 of Hanukkah. So if you are celebrating, we send you those beautiful greetings for a blessed Hanukkah. Here are those community guidelines. So whenever we are together, we create safe spaces. And so these are the community guidelines that you agree to by being together. Also, monitoring that chat tonight and helping you along the way is my co-pilot, my co-facilitator, Malika, and she's coming to us. She's actually not home. She's traveling, but she's hopping on. She's giving you a wave. And so you have Malika and Jennifer with you tonight as we set up our January the monthly part of our January journals. Now, is there anybody here for the first time? Maybe this was a gift and you have this brand new journal and you're here to kind of find out like how can I make the most of it? Please drop a me in that chat so we can welcome you. I will let you know that we communicate as a community through this chat function. And I already mentioned there's lots of folks who are returning. And so they have been using this journal. This is their accountability time. They make this appointment with themselves so that they can make sure that they are plugging in and using this journal to maximize all the gifts that it can bring your way. And you're seeing we do have several new folks joining us. So tonight we're gonna go through getting some of these things set up for the month. And then don't worry if you don't finish, and I'm gonna encourage you. These are my, the Post-it notes, scrap paper. So when I first started using this journal, I would attend a social, I would watch, I would communicate, I would talk, I would visit, I would get to know folks. And then I would sit later and really fill out my journal. I'd do things in pencil and then I'd go back and really commit to it in pen. So you will find what works best for you. As you know, these wonderful journals come, yes, and you come to every weekly and monthly setup because it's an accountability. It's like when I used to be a big walker, I had a friend who would be at the door at 5:30 in the morning, and if it was raining or cold, I wouldn't get out of bed if it weren't for that accountability partner. And so that's kind of how I look at our socials, like especially with these setups, it's that accountability. If you're brand new, we have these beautiful journals that have a monthly theme, and the monthly themes are so good for helping us kind of get to know ourselves better, figure out ways that we can become the best version of ourselves. And I know we have some visitors like sitting beside regular, I think it was Maggie's mom-in-law maybe is with welcome. So if you have any visitors, we're so glad that you are kind of checking out what Silk and Sonder is. But I'm very excited about this month's theme of prosperity. If you've been to some socials with me before, from time to time, I will bring up about how like the month of indulgence, that theme was huge for me because I grew up with a scarcity mindset. And here I am sitting at the last chapter of my life, and I still struggle with that. So I'm very excited about prosperity, about abundance, about what that looks like, and things that I can work on, still continuing growing and learning. And I found this quote that I love: be thankful for what you have because you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough. And I think that really sets a tone for what we are looking at when we think about prosperity in our lives. So we always like to begin by pointing out Meha's letter. I always say this is her love letter to us, and she lets us know. Oh, hi Kelly, brand new. She's popping in. Meha always kind of just writes about like our theme and why, and what she was thinking when we chose the theme and what's going on. And here's what I always encourage you: please go back and read that letter. But this is from that letter, what I put over there on the right. True prosperity is about living a life rich in purpose, joy, and fulfillment. Abundance in every form: love, health, opportunity, not just material wealth. And I think, especially in Western society, that's what we think of when we think of prosperity, that is, the financial kind of wealth. But I think we're going to really enjoy digging into where we see opportunities of prosperity in our love and our health and our relationships and our skills and finding joy and all that good stuff. So I'm going to encourage you to read Meha's letter, pull out those words that really speak to you. Our agenda tonight, we're going to work on our monthly acrostic poem. That's kind of our first little peek into prosperity. We are going to work on that yearly reflection on page 3. We will do our November reflections and then set our intentions for and you know what, I'm just realizing that our agenda needs to be, we're going to be doing December reflections, and we'll be working on our January intentions, and we will get that changed for the future ones. And then we're going to do our mood tracker and our habit tracker. So let's get going here. I know, time warp. We don't need to redo redo those months. I tell you, one of our other facilitators builds the skeleton of our slide decks, and so I think just that overwhelm of December kicked in. But thank you for your graciousness in understanding that. So I'm going to invite you, find a blank page, a blank space, a sticky note, thoughts journal, wherever, and I want you to start thinking about prosperity. We sort of started framing out some things to think about, and start just jotting down what comes up to you. Don't second guess yourself. Maybe come up with a few words or phrases, and then let's see if we can work it into that acrostic poem, like by using a letter from each of the letters in prosperity. Sentences, one word, one set of words. I've got a couple of examples to show you, but you might want to set up your page to look something like this. And I actually worked on 2, and I'm gonna tell you, I used my personal coach to help me, because she knows, that I'm retired, and I'm talking about the Silk and Sonder personal coaching app, part of our app. That beta program that we're in. She knows that I'm retired and that I want to embrace each day. I want to have a vital life. And so she took all that stuff she knows about me and helped me write my poem. So that's it on the left. And then the one on the right are just words that I came up with for each one of the letters in prosperity. But also, if prosperity, you want to chew on it for a little bit, you could do an acrostic using the month of January, welcoming this new year, or perhaps you'll just create a prosperity word cloud, just kind of all the words that come to mind for that. So Again, I'm going to, Marley, so the definition page, let's see, let me open this up, has been replaced this month with our yearly reflection. And that is a page that we're going to be working on together tonight. So in January, we always have a yearly reflection in the January journal. So that was a great question. Alrighty, so I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna put on some music and I'll go back and forth between these slides while you start thinking about prosperity and maybe be inspired with this acrostic poem. Okay, normally we give you a little bit more time to work on this acrostic and the first things that are popping into your head as you start considering prosperity and what that looks like for you. So you're more than welcome to continue working on that, but we also want to make sure that we carve out some time to take a look at our yearly reflections, which you will find on page 3 of your journal. And as I mentioned earlier, this is normally where we find that definition page, but we will always have a yearly reflection in the January journal. So you don't, again, you may not finish everything tonight. We're kind of here to give you the structure to work in your journal, and then you can finish up that acrostic poem. And I also want to encourage you to go back and look at your acrostic poem after we've had this month-long journey with this theme, and see if the poem still resonates with you after all the work that you're going to be putting into this month's theme. So our yearly reflection is on page 3, and there are 4 categories. The things that you achieved, taking a look back over this past year, people you met, places you went, and the books you read. Now, I'm going to encourage you, you can pull out all your old journals. Again, this is probably going to be a jumping off point, and then you can finish this reflection outside of the social, but we thought we would visit and kind of get started together. What I did is I grabbed my phone, went through my camera roll, rolled all the way back to January 2024, and then that really helped kind of click some memories off for me. I was like, yeah, I forgot I did that. Of course, look through your calendar. You could scroll back through your calendar or, and again, your other journals. And I want to invite you to change any of these categories that will better fit your life, your experiences this past year. And I actually changed one of these for in my reflection. So mine is there on the left. So the things I achieved is you see that, but next to it, instead of the people I met, I now that I'm retired, I am so fortunate that I'm a hobbyist and I'm a crafter and I'm a sewist. And so I find a lot of joy in looking back over the projects that some of the projects I completed this year. So I changed that category so that I can embrace those projects that I completed. I didn't go anywhere super exciting. I was pretty much a local girl this year, but as I scrolled through my phone, I remembered, oh, I started off last January with stitches with my little grandson while his parents were in Mexico for a wedding. So my first big visit, a place I went last year or this past year, was the emergency room. And then I'm a huge reader, so I just wrote 52. I tried to read a book of a week on average this year, and I hit my goal. So that's what's there. The one next to it, you can see a couple of the categories were changed, and instead of places I went, this is a concert goer. And so this person embraced this box to celebrate all the good live music that was listened to over the year. And then also the things that this person learned versus the people that they met. So, oh, a new puppy, Andrea, that's so much fun. So let's take a few minutes to kind of dig into this. I'm going to give you a little longer chunk of time. You can finish up that acrostic poem if you want, and you can start kind of going through your yearly reflections. Would love for you to drop in the chat the things that you forgot, and you're like, oh, I'm so glad I'm reflecting over this now because this is what happened in my world, and just share with one another. And I'll be back to check in with you in just a few minutes. Some of you had a moment to drop a few things in the chat that were coming up for you. I love things like, having confidence to take this step forward or to be bold or put myself out there, advocated for myself. You're looking back and you can see those areas of growth, the way that you have taken care of yourself, and you can be really, really proud of those things. And achievements can be big, achievements can be little. And what I find interesting about doing these yearly reflections is that, 12 months ago, I wouldn't have known that I was going to learn how to play chess. But that was something that I achieved because it was an interest of my little grandson, and I'm a horrible player, but I'm learning, right? And that wasn't a goal I had, but I can look back and go, well, look at you trying something different. It's not a big deal. So it's a great way for us to just be really proud of the things that we have done, to remember that even if this year was tough, even if this year was a dumpster fire and you're so happy to look at 2025, this reflection reminds us that life is full of balance and that there were good things. Marriages, yes, there's marriages. I saw babies, I saw houses, new homes, big promotions at work. So lots of good things. I'm proud of y'all, Sonder family. So you probably don't have this finished up, but hopefully we got the wheels turning and you can commit to sitting down and reflecting over your 2024 and celebrating those good things that came into your life. So now it's time to get going with our setup for this month. And I neglected to remind you guys that we are recording this event. And so you will be able to access this event probably in a couple of days. We'll have a few more setups for the month. But if there's anything on here that you miss, maybe I'm going to encourage you to take a screenshot if you see something that inspires you, that maybe you want to entertain, of how to plug it into your journal and use it in your journal. But you will also have the ability to go back and rewatch any of this, if you need that information. So I love this quote that is currently on the screen because it is all about the power of pen to paper, which is what this journal is all about. And Jim Rohn wrote, never begin the day until it is finished on paper. And that's exactly what we do when we take this tool and use it in our life. So let's start with our December reflection page, which you will find on page 8. We're going to look at the wins and the challenges, and then, of course, our favorite moments from the month. And I want to work on that part first, and then we'll take some time to do the start, stop, and continue section. So let's turn to page 8. And you might want to go back and look at those roses and those buds and those thorns from your weekly reflections in December. We're going to be looking at the wins. What were the things that you are celebrating that made you smile? Those accomplishments. And then, of course, we know life comes with challenges. So what were those? Let's embrace them. Let's put them on paper. Let's kind of say goodbye to them if we can. Sometimes challenges are always there, but sometimes there's a lot of power in just being able to write that down and say, okay, I'm saying goodbye to you. But these are going to be those stumbling blocks, the things that cause frustration, things that are kind of out of your control. And then, of course, the favorite moments. And it's such a full month as we end a year, lots of holiday celebrations, lots of, your routines might be off if you have kids at home. So now you're on winter break. So December may look a little bit different. So let's just take a moment. I'm going to, again, point you to your phone, point you to your rosebud thorn reflections, your the previous pages in your December journal, if you've got those, to go back to, kind of jog your memory about this past month. We'll work on this for a few moments, and then we'll come back and work on our start, stop, and continue. Feel free to share. Alrighty, continue to work on your reflections from December. But while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and drop down to the bottom of this page, page 8. And we're going to spend a little bit of time thinking about what we want to start, stop, and continue. So as you're doing this reflection, the things that you want to start are maybe some of those new ideas, new mindsets, um, things that you want to, put into place that are not currently existing in your life. And we really tend to do this heavy in January, right? With the start of a brand new year. So, be gentle as you're thinking about this. Don't take off too much. We want to set ourselves up for success. What are we needing to stop? What things are not working for us? Are we just doing some things because we're doing them and we realize, oh, they're not really serving us. I need to stop that. Things that you just dislike or that no longer serve you, or that kind of get in your way. And then what things are working? What do you want to continue? What do you want to bring forward, not only into the month of January, but to continue through our new year? Now, I've got some really great examples for how you can think about these spaces. Let me share those with you in just a second, but let's talk about, maybe this space becomes all about one particular relationship you have with someone. And so you're really going to focus in on that particular relationship. It could be someone in your family, it could be someone at work. And you're going to work on that relationship through this lens of what do I want to start, to stop, and continue. You could also choose a category in your life, like maybe it's all about your health or your wellness, rest, nutrition, moving my body more. And so this space becomes dedicated to that one thing. Something like a decluttering challenge, that's always a big one at the front end of the year. Or perhaps there's a core value that you really want to embrace and celebrate, something that means a whole lot to you. And it really does define who you are. And so you want to start some things so that you can really embrace that core value, but also take some things away that might be standing in the way of you being your best self through the lens of that core value. Perhaps this is a financial look over your finances, and you want to start some things, stop, and continue some things. Education, habits. Perhaps you take this month's theme and think about it through the lens of prosperity. What do you need to start to find prosperity in your life? What do you need to stop? And so let's take a look at some examples from Sonder Family, on how folks have set these up, and you can just see how they are. You can color code it, use some tape, some washi tape, some stickers to really make this pop. Um, so there's some, very simple statements there. I love this one. Are you a sticker? I say stickers are there to be used. So if you are a sticker person, get them out, and maybe they will express the things you want to start, stop, and continue. And then this person on the bottom kind of, what do they want to continue? They just want to stay positive, stay positive, stay positive. They found the perfect sticker to put there. And then if you want to do a deeper dig, I love this idea. So the one at the top, we're asking the question, okay, what is it that I want to start? What? This person says clearing things and decluttering. And then they're asking themselves why, to really own this, to really commit to paper. And so they're saying, well, because I want to get new carpeting. And so I need to do this decluttering. And how? How am I going to make this happen? And they're going to donate as much stuff as possible. So kind of these actionable items. It's a really nice way, to look at these spaces. And then, like I was saying earlier, you might want to do almost a personal challenge here. And so the person on the bottom here embraced the idea of health and wellness and asked those questions. the what, the why, and the how of the area that they want, the thing they want to start, this thing they want to stop, and the thing they want to continue. So I just really think that deep dig really kind of helps us know why we're doing what we're doing. It's not just this random thing, like it'd be nice to do this. Well, there's a little more actionable items or actionable steps to it when we frame it out that way. This was from our Silk and Sonder Instagram. So if you're not following that, oh my gosh, great, great content. And so it might be, you might want to repurpose this space as you're considering what you want January to look like, and ask yourself these questions. I feel how, and that's because of, and you name that. And then you say, I need to, or I want to. And so you can see that this person said, I feel tired, slothy, and burnt out because the seasons are changing, routine is changing, and I've been doing a lot. So that's telling me I need to prioritize my rest, movement, grace, and consistency. So really embracing this to so fit where you are in life. So go ahead and finish up those reflections, and let's work on this stop, start, and continue. I'll put on a little bit of music, and then I'll be back to check in with you in just a moment. And as always, share if something comes up for you that you might think that, oh, maybe somebody else would benefit from hearing this. A little bit of chatter on perhaps instead of having a start box, it's a restart box, kind of finding that energy to do something, get it going again in your life because it does serve you well. And so, of course, feel free to frame that out as a restart. You can divide the boxes in half and have, I'm going to restart this and I'm going to start this. It's all about making this tool work in your life. So you're always invited to use the pages just as they are, but we also encourage you to change up whatever you need to so that it really is meaningful. And the journal, like we're the journal's the skeleton, and then you put the meat behind it and what you need in your life. So, again, I want to make sure that we have plenty of time to hit up all of these sections. So now we're going to dive into that intention section. Now, when I first started, I'm going to full confession. When I first started using Silk and Sonder journals, I loved this page. I would write down these kind of ideas, not really goals, not to-dos, but just sort of like these big ideas, in my intentions. And I would feel really good about what I put in each one of these spaces. There are the categories there. And then I would close the page and move forward into the month and never go back and look at these intentions. I'm going to encourage you to make sure that you flip back to these intentions like every time you set yourself up for a new week. Make sure that your weekly setup is aligning with the intentions that you have for January. Go back, really make it a tool, kind of that toolbox that you go to as you're working out your week to week to week during this month. So January, there's a lot of fun facts. I'll go back to this slide so you can gravitate to some of these if it sounds good. There's some fun national things that happen in the month of January. And so you might want to kind of put that in maybe some of these boxes that are on this intention page as you embrace things. But pardon me, let's talk about what it looks like. And I love the little graphic that's there on the slide again, pulling out those Post-it notes, kind of jotting down some ideas as you're starting to dig in and make your pathway, your compass for the month of January until you're not, you may be thinking of a couple of things, and so you're not ready to quite commit to the page. So feel free to use those Post-it notes. Focus on our theme for the month. I think prosperity is going to be a beautifully rich theme for us to explore. You might want to look at maybe that stop, start, and continue section. And is there something in there that would guide you as you set up your intentions? Maybe you said, I'm gonna start talking to myself in a lovely manner. And so maybe that self-talk will come through in all of these areas on our intentions for the month. Lots of folks like to use song or lyrics or book titles just to kind of frame this out. I'm going to show you some wonderful examples. You could maybe ask yourself how you want to feel in each one of these categories. You can use stickers or drawings or different kind of images. I've got some great examples to show you there. And also, I love when we take these types of things and do somewhat of a duality. So something like let go of and embrace, or more of one thing, less of something. So kind of that duality, that balance that we find in life. So let's just look at some great examples from our Sonder family. You can deck this page out in stickers that will inspire you. That duality, I choose and I release. So that's a really beautiful way of setting that page up. That's kind of there in the middle. And then in the bottom left, you see more and less. So again, kind of looking at that duality. The intentions are also set up beautifully through the lens of making them each have an affirmation. So you can see a beautiful example of an affirmation statement for each one of these areas. And those are going to kind of, you can't go wrong if you start out a statement with I will, or I can, or I commit to. Those are really great ways of making these turn into an affirmation that will guide you in each one of these areas. You can also, if you notice the one on the upper right, use the monthly theme. This was the theme of connect. And so they embraced that for setting up each one of their intentions. Here's a couple that, the one on the left, we've got a quote for each area, as well as embracing that duality idea, the less and the more. And then we've got quotes over there on the right, but I also want to point out that spiritual health for this Sonder family user has become mental health or mental wellness. The personal life category at the top in the right hand column is their creative growth. And so that is a reminder, again, change it up if something speaks to you a little more clearly. I'm retired, so my professional goals have become my creative life. And that's where I try to embrace, or I'm sorry, no, professional goals is my learning goals. And so I try to embrace different types of learning opportunities each month. And then my personal life is my creative life. So I change both of those categories up. There is another example of the duality of embrace and release. And then, of course, it's always fun to do it kind of that collage scrapbook style by using images, grabbing, printing things out. Maybe you print some pictures of the people that are close to you in your life, or you cut out from, magazines. And then maybe you're very artistic and this is kind of where you get your doodle on. I love that. I am a words person. I wish I could draw like that. The one in the middle there, song titles and lyrics to support those intentions. And then again, look at how the person on the right just changed all these areas because they are focusing on some very specific things for their life. And so they have kind of retitled each one of these intention spaces. It's all about what works for you. And so I'll encourage you to start looking at this. Let us know several things. If you change a category, what do you change it to? Because that might inspire someone else. And if you're feeling a little stuck in an area, like I'm really not sure how to frame out this intention, tell us what you're looking at, what you're trying to go for, and let the Sonder family help you out with maybe something that you could put in your space. And I'll be back to check in in just a few minutes.
Easily find and joyously create abundance. I 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 easily find and joyously create.
All right, good working on your intentions. And again, don't feel like you have to have this done tonight. And a couple of you said, well, I might go to another one of these or two. And this is being recorded. And so, you take what you need. We're kind of giving you the little head start. And then as we continue to dig in, you'll figure out what works best for you this month. And you can always go into Sonder Club and look at what folks are posting and ask questions there if you're ever feeling a little stuck. So now let's take a look at that mood tracker, which you're going to find on page 10. And we love the mood tracker because when we track our moods, we're able to start seeing trends in how we're feeling. When you see those trends and you notice something, and you can kind of like it's a data collection, right? We're getting all this data, then you can be like, oh, I notice that on the weekends, I'm much happier than the weekdays, or vice versa. And it kind of helps you pay attention to what's going on in your life. And then you can shift perspective, you can bring in tools. that will help you maybe get some of these moods elevated if you're noticing that some days are tougher than others. So the mood tracker comes in two forms. It's either in a round circle like the one that you see here, or it is in this hexagon form, right? With the little pattern there. So just don't want to throw you off. But what we tend to do is suggest maybe if especially if this is brand new for you, maybe pick two or three negative feelings, a neutral feeling, and then two or three positive feelings, and start with that to track. You can also like focus on prosperity, like how am I feeling about that through that lens this month, using that theme. Some folks try to fill in every emotion that comes up, and some folks will just like check in at noon and they record what is going on at that moment. So it's really up to you how you want to manage this tracker. I personally, I don't use a mood tracker. I use it, I repurpose it. I'm going to show you some examples for repurposing the tracker. And, again, you can go haywire and do stickers, colored pencils, pens, doodles, whatever you want as you utilize this tracker. So this is our feelings wheel. And we start, if you look in the very middle, you will see the 6 basic feelings. That's a really good place to start if you've never tracked your feelings before. And you'll see the same words on the outside of that, anger, sadness, surprise, joy, love, and fear. But as you move out from the middle, to the outside of the circle, then we really start honing in on some very specific types of feelings within those different feeling families, if you will. So maybe you've really been struggling with feelings of anger, and you're really trying to focus on what is causing it, what is stirring it up. You might choose all of those feelings from this anger category to really try to take a look at what's going on in your life. So you could go and you could do maybe, hostile, agitated, frustrated, aggravated, resentful. Maybe you just track all of those because you're really trying to figure out why have I felt so angry? Or you can just again take one or two kind of positive, kind of and then a middle sort of meh, I'm okay, and then a couple of negative, couple positive, and then sort of a in between there. So there's our mood tracker for this month. Now you can see the person over here. This is the mood wheel, but it's the same type of tracker. They are doing the 6 basic feelings, and then they actually added some of those words in the middle there so that they can reference that and then they can check in with how they're feeling. Some other ways this person over there, look at the bottom right one, they're doing a morning check-in and a PM check-in with their feelings, and then they're going to, track that. Here's again, just setting these things up. And I would suggest to you, I think it's a really good idea to maybe draw, outline the days that are different from your regular routine. For instance, if you work a Monday through Friday job, you might want to draw, around your Saturday, Sunday, because you may find yourself very consistently not having negative feelings on those days because it's the weekend, and then that helps you see, oh, those negative feelings are bubbling up during my work week. Here is a couple more examples of that. The person at the top is really, look how they're really plugging into sort of the way they're feeling, balanced, extremely balanced. I love the one that's all the way over on the right. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, depleted, angry, or frustrated, need to start over, and it's highlight, back to bed I go. I'm gonna go do a fresh start. The one below that, we're tracking emotions and energy at the same time to see if those energy levels are affected by these 3 emotions. You don't have to do all 6 emotions. You might want to only track 2 or 3. And then we have a lot of ways that you can take this tracker if you don't want to do your emotions, your moods, and you can repurpose it into other ways. Let's look at some fun examples of that. The anxiety tracker, I usually include this when I do a monthly setup. This is from our co-facilitator, Bailey. And she was tracking just those anxiety days to help her kind of see if she could, sync it up with some specific things going on in her life. I love the idea of a calm tracker. Maybe if one of your stop, start, and continue, or if that whole area had to do with finances, maybe you put this into make this tracker become a spending tracker, because that's going to support that stop, start, and continue that you're working on. I've always loved this one that's on the right, my manifest happiness tracker. What am I going to do to have a mindset of joy and happiness out in the world? So they are going to do connection, creativity, they're going to pay compliments, smile at someone, enjoy, and then self-care. And they're tracking that to just really lean into finding happiness, having that happy mindset. A movement tracker, a calorie tracker, how to start the day in a good mood tracker. And they have given themselves 6 things to start their day. And if they do one of them, they're going to do the gray sticker. If they do 2 out of the 6, they kind of do that taupe colored sticker. So they're really trying to set themselves on a straight course for the year. Here's a symptom tracker. My book tracker is right there on the left. I always use this to track the books I'm reading each month. I love my books. A kindness tracker, and look, different people, that one's kind of in the middle at the bottom. Different people are in the different circles. So maybe that's like, I need to be nice. So I'm gonna put those people there. You can do the rate the day, you can do an activity tracker. So again, lots of ideas. I'm gonna put on some music while you work on this. Let us know how you're going to be using this tracker. If you use it for mood tracker, what are you tracking? What are you wanting to work on? And if you repurpose, we really want to know what you are going to be doing to repurpose this and how you're going to make that work in your life. And then I'll be back to check in with you in just a few moments. Righty, thank you for sharing some of the repurposing for this tracker. I know that, so I've heard lots of folks say, I have so many moods, there's not a tracker big enough, right? I have to do like a mood tracker for each hour of the day, and so they just don't do that part. Now let's finish up by taking a look at that habit tracker on page 11. Now, this is that monthly tracker. These are those things that you're going to want to strive to do most days of the month. You also have a habit and activity tracker in the weekly setup, which can be the same habits that are here in this wheel, but the one in the weekly can also just be set up to reflect the week you're having. So these are going to be those habits that we want to maybe incorporate in our life every day, the things that are going to serve us well. Like, what do we want to start doing? Maybe some of the start things go in our tracker. We could also put those stop things in there, like what do we want to stop doing? That can go in your habit tracker. And then, of course, the things that bring you value, you want to continue. So, again, do you want to frame this out with the theme of prosperity, or another theme, something that you're working on that you are really seeking, like being calm, being filled with joy, being delighted? Perhaps you need to bring forth your habits from last month. Remember, it takes a long time to establish a brand new habit. So you're going to be bringing this over quite for 2, 3, 4 months until the habit is truly established. They don't need to be all new every month. And then remember, you don't have to fill out every line. I'm going to show you some examples of folks just filling out a few things. We always love this beautiful mandala to fill that out, but you don't have to get fancy like that. Mine is just a check every day. I wanted to point out the one over there on the right. Do you see how some of those days are marked off? They've been traced. Those are the weekends. Sometimes we just give ourselves permission to take the weekend off from your habits. And so, or perhaps you notice on the weekends you don't get your habits done like you want to. Here are just some examples of how folks are filling this out. Notice the one on the right around the perimeter of it. When there are special days, it's indicated, some traveling days, some out of town. Where am I? That helps you kind of see this data. Maybe something didn't happen. You're like, oh yeah, but I was in Oregon. So I'm going to give myself that grace of, to let that one go. The one on the left here, look, 3 habits. They're tracking 3 things. So we bite off what we can chew. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Love the one over there on the right. It is, they have written their why. Remember when we did that stop, start, and continue, and we kind of think about like, why do I need to do this? So I'm unplugging at 8 p.m. is that first habit, and then the why is because I want to be present with the people in their life. My AM routine is done by 6:30. Why? Because my mental health is important. So kind of that reminder of why you're doing what you're doing, that could be something that's very helpful. Here are 2 habit trackers that are completely filled out. And I wanted to show you that this is a piece of data, right? It is not a place to be upset with yourself for missing things, for not getting things done. I love there's this person on the left has totaled up the number of days and celebrated when those things happen. The person on the left, I'm sorry, I get my right and left mixed up. Person on the left totaled the days. The person on the right actually did percentages. So they've got this like piece of data about their life, and it's very neutral. So I wanted you to see it's okay to have those missed spaces. And then it's not about coverall. This is not a bingo. We're going to give ourselves grace if we get sick or if we have a rough day and we don't get something done. And James Clear, who is the habit guru of all habit gurus, said, don't ask yourself, what can I do on my best days? Choose habits that you can stick to even on your worst days. You start small and then you scale up. So I've got some habit ideas for you to take a look at as we fill this portion in, and then I'll be back and we'll close our time together.
Sonder Social. 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 Sonder Social.
As I said at the front end of our time together, this was a jam-packed social as we are not only beginning a new month, but we are beginning a new year together. So there are a couple of more monthly socials. If you have the time, you could check those out. I think I'm going to do another one on Monday. Um, share your planner in Sonder Club or ask questions as you're trying to maybe figure things out. Sit with your journal, embrace your journal. This is your tool. Help yourself set it up set it up to help yourself be the best version of you. I'm so honored that you joined Monica and me this evening as we got ready to dive into 2025. Make it a great rest of the week, rest of the year. And I'm so proud of you for showing up for yourself tonight. See you next time, Sonder family.
Taking all the sunshine, bottle up the rain. Go where the wind blows, let it show the way. Open all the windows, let in all the light. You can pull the stars down, paint the perfect sky. So go and write your song. The world will sing along. Jump in, and we don't know where we'll end up. You might as well